Hello everyone, I'm so glad you're here. As promised, this will be my analysis video of chapter 133 of Attack on Titan, and my goodness, this one is a doozy. I'm mostly just going to be talking about what happened in Paths and some extra bits that I thought were interesting and wanted to point out. If I skipped over something, it's probably because I already talked about it in my last video, which was my initial reaction to the chapter. So let's get right into it. This chapter starts off with everybody's solemn faces after the loss of Hanji. We get a good look at what Eren's Titan form looks like from Armin's drawing, and it truly looks different from any other Titan that we've ever seen before. I've seen some people speculate that it isn't done forming yet, but since we haven't seen any sort of development or change in the Titan's look since it first came out, I think this is probably the final form. Personally, I just have to wonder how the heck he moves if it's just one big giant ribcage. Like, does he scoot along on the tip of the bones, or like, do they lift? You know, I don't know, it's just confusing. I'm confused by it. So since Eren has the Warhammer's power, his body doesn't have to be in the nape of the neck, which makes finding him a bit difficult in a Titan so huge. We have a passive-aggressive peak say that Armin could just transform into the Colossal Titan and blow everything away like he did in Liberio. This is probably foreshadowing another Armin transformation, especially since we've only ever seen his Colossal one time before. However, Armin says that transforming is the last resort if they are unable to talk Eren down, which, after this chapter, doesn't seem very likely. Next, we have Levi bring up Zeke again, who has been missing from the recent chapters. I actually never thought about it before, but it would make a lot of sense if Zeke's body was a part of the Titan as well, since the contact between him and Eren is what initiated the founding powers in the first place. Hanji's idea that they could stop the rumbling by killing Zeke could actually work, but I doubt it'll play out this way since Levi still holds a lot of anger towards Zeke. He still carries the promise to Erwin, something that he resolved to do years and years ago. But the last time we saw Zeke, Grisha had told him to stop Eren, which means that he now has the same motives as the Alliance. So if Zeke does end up being able to offer some kind of help or knowledge, then Levi might have to hold off on his promise yet again. I actually talk more about their fates together in my death predictions video, so if you guys want to watch that, I'll leave the link in the description. So moving on, everyone makes their resolve to save humanity as a way to try to make up for the sins of killing so many people on the way. They're all finally beginning to understand one another, particularly Reiner, who also did what he thought he had to do at the time. They realize they all carry the burden of the same sins, but they have to keep moving forward exactly like Eren said. In this conversation, Reiner tries to understand Eren's position, believing that he has to be struggling with his decision to kill the entire world. He said that if he was in Eren's place, he'd hope that somebody would be able to take the power or stop him. Now, this could just be Reiner projecting his own emotions onto the situation, but we already know that this was a last resort for Eren. So as much as Eren says that he wanted this, I think that Reiner is probably onto something here. But apparently, Eren can hear them because he brought them into Paths immediately following this conversation. I'd love to know more about this power, like has he been watching over them this entire time? Can he see every single Eldian at the same time, or is he just watching the Alliance? Can he read their thoughts somehow through Paths? What's going on here? So once they're in Paths, they all of course desperately scream out to Eren, hoping to talk to him, hoping to talk him down from massacring the entire world. Everybody opens up to him, telling him that he's done more than enough, that no one will bother them for hundreds of years to come. They said that it was their fault for pushing him into a corner and that he doesn't have to keep killing people for them. Mikasa tells him that they bear the same sins now and they just want him to come back. Even Levi asks him to come out in his own special Levi way. But Eren appears and says that he can't let fate decide the future, to which Jean asks why he can't trust them. This to me sounds exactly like Petra, who said the same thing to Eren in season 1. Eren trusted her back then, and he put his faith in the people around him, which ultimately led to their deaths. Over and over, people died for Eren, and he couldn't do a single thing about it because he wasn't strong enough. He's acquired the power now to gain the freedom which he's always wanted, so how could he possibly stop? Even if his friends are serious about coming up with another resolution, Eren only knows the future that he's seen, and this is all that he can do to ensure that they survive. One line that I want to point out before moving on is that Armin says that they're always going to be together, and I wonder if that means in death as well. Could this be a death flag for Armin too? Anyways, next we have Eren say that he will take away the freedom of the whole world to gain his own, but he will not take away theirs. This shows that the love of his friends was not his only motive for the rumbling, but his freedom as well. He's allowing them to make their own decisions even if it means that they'll eventually clash. In Eren's own mind, in his own strange, messed up, twisted way, this is the best gift that he could give them. The gift of freedom, which has always been Eren's driving force. In his eyes, he's doing them a service by allowing them the ability to choose, but really he's asking them to decide between fighting and killing someone that they love or letting the entire world die for their sake. Eren must know that people have died for him, but he continues to move forward despite that. As Mikasa, Armin, Jean, and Connie run towards Eren, Ymir shows up and teleports them back to where they started, which leads me to believe that Ymir is really the one in control. It seems to me like Eren traded his freedom for her power, and he's going to pay the price. There's been so much symbolism of Eren being restrained, especially with the design of his final Titan form, which shows us that he's not as free as he believes he is. I've said before that Eren might be forced to take Ymir's place in Paths, and that seems more likely after this chapter. I still believe that the only way for them to truly be free would be to destroy the Titan powers and Paths, but we shall see how that plays out. There's significance in the fact that these two small, disheveled children are the biggest threat in the entire series, the final bosses, if you will. Typically, kids are associated with innocence and purity, but neither of them have ever really been pure, Eren in particular. Even as a child, Eren used the power that he had to fight, even to the point where he killed other human beings. In his eyes, they were nothing but monsters in human skin, but he still murdered them. Eren's morality has always been a bit questionable, but it seemed like his intentions were always good. As a child, he was enthralled by the idea of the outside world that Armin showed him. He wanted to see the ocean, what the world really looked like without the walls obstructing his view. Well, now Eren can finally see the scenery that he so desperately wanted, but this version of Eren is not the same. This Eren's eyes are clouded with hatred and fear, the same as Ymir's throughout her entire existence as a slave. The only time we see her eyes unclouded is when Eren frees her. Eren definitely is not his normal self at the moment. He's being controlled by something, whether it's Ymir, his own lust for freedom, the future memories, or something else entirely. This may be the last time that the Alliance has a chance to talk to Eren, but there's no way to get through to him as he is. If Armin could somehow snap Eren out of his delusions like he's done before, the outcome may be different and Eren may be willing to listen then. So now we're back on the plane, and I want to point out that Levi's fingers have grown back in this panel. It could be a mistake, but there is a possibility that the sand and paths healed him, since we did see him sit down in it. We have seen it heal Zeke before, although Ymir was there to remold his body at the time. Alright, now we're back to square one, and there are so many questions. Are they going to be able to talk to Eren again? Will they search for Zeke? Will they have to resort to Armin's Titan? Will it even be able to do anything against Eren and his own colossal titans? And of course, it all gets put onto Armin once again when Levi asked, "What now, Commander?" Okay, so there we have it, folks. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed my analysis, and if you got this far, comment the monkey emoji for Zeke, and I will see you in my next video.